Hi, this is Billy D. If you enjoy this podcast, please like and subscribe. Let's grow NAIA basketball. Thank you. Cascade Hoops Talk, bringing the world NAIA basketball one podcast at a time. Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. Hey, it's Thursday, November 9th. Several games from last night to go over. Also, new top 25 came out yesterday. I'm sure you saw that. We'll go through that, talk about some of the changes. But the first thing we're going to do today is talk to Colby Blaine. He's the head men's basketball coach at the College of Idaho. Colby Blaine here. He's the head men's basketball coach, College of Idaho. Thank you, Colby, for being on.
Billy, good to hear from you. Excited to chat.
So the ratings, this is, we recorded this Wednesday morning. They came back out. You're still number one in the country. Number one. Congratulations on that. How many weeks is that now? You guys have been number one. Are you counting?
Well, good question. I think we finished the last 3 or 4 polls last year at number one and then 2 this year. So they're starting to add up, but at the end of the day, it's hard to keep that. So we'll see what we can do.
So is it different managing a team when you're chasing versus being the hunted?
Yeah, well, I think you kind of just said it perfectly. Like, we certainly are being hunted, but managing the team is, redeveloping our mindset and continuing to be the hunter.
Right.
We still have a lot to prove on this team. There are a lot of guys who have a lot to prove. And, of course, last year we talked about wanting to win a national championship and we were able to accomplish that. And so now our goals are even bigger. This team's starting to talk about, man, what if we can become the most dominant NAIA era, right? Like,
Right.
What if we can do that? And so we're trying to figure out who do we have to become to actually achieve that.
So basically what you're talking about is moving your goals or adjusting your goals.
Absolutely. I mean, a couple years ago, I was kind of afraid of goals. And right after COVID, with the help of our strength coach, we started setting little goals. And I just saw how it changed our drive and our inner passion and our motivation. And it really brought the team together. And I mean, we were just doing little 10-day goals, like get rid of junk food or something like that. And so we've actually really started establishing big goals in our program. And it's really driving us and keeping us motivated. We feel, like I said, we feel like we have a lot more to prove. So we do not feel like we're, being hunted. We're still out there, trying to achieve a lot of big things.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Drew Stutz at Freed Hardman, it took them a long time to get attention the year before. And now they're, I think they came out 10th in the nation in the first poll. I asked him kind of the same question, and he gave me almost the exact same answer, trying to keep the hunter mindset. That's kind of interesting. Coach, you have a real advantage in that group of guys that you have. I think they're very, very special. They're 100% together. They kind of think with one mind. They're great people. Just talk about this group that you have.
Yeah, it feels like we've had them forever, to be honest. And we kind of have. I mean, most of this
Yeah.
group has been together for at least 2 years, if not 3 and 4. But this team is really connected. And I mean, I think a lot of it, there was a lot of previous relationships, as they were coming in to school here, whether it be from high school or club ball. And so there was a lot of familiarity. But at the end of the day, like that, you might know somebody, but you still have to connect. And I think what's happened with this group of 16 players is that every guy we've brought in here has been very willing to learn about their teammates. And as they've gotten to learn about them, that connection comes along, that empathy comes along, the patience comes. And so we're seeing a group that is extremely connected, and that is our advantage. Like, we just went to Providence up in Montana this last weekend and opened up our season and got a nice victory up there. But one of my biggest takeaways was our connection, and that's not necessarily something we're practicing during our 2-hour practices, and so to be able to get out there and feel that connection again and have guys battling for each other, that was very pleasing to see.
I wanted to ask you about that. You went up to Great Falls. You won at Providence. It's tough to go to Montana and win. Anybody who's not from the West doesn't understand. It's tough to go to Montana and win. And you beat them by 30. Just talk about that trip.
Yeah, I was extremely nervous. Montana is a hard place to play, and Providence has a lot of players back, a lot of very good scores. They opened up the season with 2 great wins against Corbin and Jamestown, and so I was definitely very nervous about how the game could go. But I thought, our guys really dialed in defensively. We held them to 30% from the field. We out-rebounded them by 27, and I mean, to be honest, those are our advantages. Our ability to rebound and guard is definitely our advantage, and it's something that we have a lot of experience in. And so I was really pleased that we showcased that and we didn't just relax and think it was just going to happen. Like, we actually made it happen, and that was impressive.
I want to talk a little bit about what you have upcoming, because I think you have some pretty exciting things coming up there in Caldwell. First off, Thursday night, we're recording this Wednesday morning. Thursday night, you have Northwest Nazarene coming over. If people don't understand who are listening, they are a huge rival. Talk about this game and why it's such a huge rivalry.
Yeah, it's by far the best small college rivalry in the country. We play a home and home each year. We'll open up this year at College of Idaho, and then in December we'll play at NNU. We're 15 minutes down the road from each other. There are a lot of Idaho players and a lot of West Coast regional players that are on both of our teams. Our communities get out and support. Our gym will be a sellout tomorrow against NNU. We have 2,400 seats, and every seat will be full. And the crowd's crazy. The student section's absolutely crazy. And for a long time, for about 7-8 years, we had split home and home. And then 2 years ago, they beat us twice. Last year, we beat them twice. So we've got a heck of a storyline going. But it's just a fun game to get you ready for the national tournament at the end of the year or conference tournament. It's just a fun game. It really develops, your team when you're under that type of pressure.
So sometimes that's an exhibition game, but I'm looking at your schedule, and that's a regular game tomorrow, right?
Yeah, with our league being so big, we have 22 conference games, and so it only provides us 6 preseason games. And so we're always debating about, do we play NNU as an exhibition and get some other NAIA teams on our schedule, or do we play NNU as a regular season game and then maybe play an exhibition before our season starts? So every year it kind of changes.
So next week, the 17th and the 18th, you have Antelope Valley and Vanguard, 2 California schools with good long histories, great programs coming to town in your Domino's Classic. Talk about the Domino's Classic. How excited are you about that?
Yeah, this is the 10th year we've run this tournament, and it's really a fun tournament. It's always the week before Thanksgiving. Again, we get incredible crowds, but we're fired up about Vanguard and Antelope Valley, specifically because one thing we noticed last year at the national tournament was that we played a lot of very athletic teams who really put us under pressure in West Cliff and Xavier and Shreveport. And so what we wanted to do was put some really athletic defensive teams on our preseason schedule because we wanted to be able to understand those types of pressures. And so I know that Vanguard and Antelope Valley are going to be as athletic as anybody we see all year, and they're going to really pressure us and make us uncomfortable. And so it's going to be awesome home games for us.
That you can always, I don't care what their record is, you can always bet that Antelope Valley at the offensive end is going to make you feel very uncomfortable. They kind of specialize in that.
Yeah.
Right after that, you have what you call the Taco Bell shootout. I think that's Thanksgiving weekend, I believe. But you have Montana Western and Hope International. Again, 2 great programs. You really have some great teams coming to Caldwell here in the preseason.
Yeah, we never want to shy away from playing really good teams. We've actually found that our program has gotten a lot better as we play better preseasons. It's much more fun and much more developmental for our team, win or lose, to play really good teams. We're never going to know where we need to go unless we're playing guys that can really challenge us physically, mentally, all of that. And so every year we try to schedule absolutely as hard as we can, and it certainly is paying off.
So Colby, help me out here. To me, it appears that the ability or the strength or whatever word you want to use of these NAI programs across the country just is exploding. It used to be there was 10, 12, 15 teams that really were good, and just now every time you walk into a gym to play, they're good. Everybody is good now. Is it just me, or are you getting that same sense?
Yeah, well, when I was doing preseason rankings, I get to be the Cascade ranker this year, and I'm
Oh,
going
okay.
through all these teams. And I mean, I'm doing my research, and I'm texting other coaches around the country saying, "Man, this team's loaded. This team's loaded." So you're 100% right. I think what's happening is one, we're everybody's realizing that NAIA basketball is really good, thanks to you and NAIA Hoops Report, and a lot of people really spreading the word. But two, I do think there's a lot of coaches out there who are really pushing the envelope and really selling their programs well and showcasing what we can do at our level. And so it has been fun to see the level of talent. I'm very hopeful that we can get out to Kansas City again, because it's incredible to see those final 16 teams and what they're able to put on the court.
That is the funnest week in the world, Colby. I love that week going down there. That is some amazing basketball. Just an amazing. The NAIA does a great job. I wish we could get 32 teams there. That would be. I think it'd be fun, but they don't let me take a vote.
Yeah, maybe next year.
Well, Colby, I really appreciate you taking a few minutes. I wish you luck. You got a pretty tough string coming through November, but I'll see you early in December down there in Klamath Falls.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier for the Yotes when we tip off in early December for Cascade Conference at OIT in Southern, but definitely look forward to catching up with you down there.
Thank you, Colby. That's Colby Blaine. He's head men's basketball coach, College of Idaho Yotes, #1 in the nation. Thank you, Colby.
You bet, Bill.
Hey, thank you very much to Colby Blaine and to the College of Idaho. The Yotes will be back in action tonight against Northwest Nazarene. Let's keep going through the games tonight. Let's go to #2 Grace. They go to 5-0. They hosted Governor State tonight. You know, I've seen Governor State play. I'm surprised it was this big of a win, honestly, for Grace. 117-71. I know that there in Winona Lake, that Mock Center is a hard place to play. They fill it up. They get wild fans. For Grace tonight, Jacob Gibbs, he scored 20 points, and big Elijah Malone, 17 points, 6 rebounds. So the Lancers, they go to 5-0. Also tonight in exhibition action, LSU Shreveport, they win 126-70. Number 11, Indiana Wesleyan, they went up to Olivet Nazarene. Always a tough place to play. They won that game 75-72. Really a huge win for the Wildcats. Griffin Cleaver, man, he is playing fantastic basketball. 22 points, 6 rebounds for Griffin. And then Javen Buchanan, 14 points, 6 rebounds. It looks like Indiana Wesleyan victors tonight at Olivet Nazarene are really starting to gel. The University of Mobile, number 16, they played Spring Hill College. That's a NC2A Division II school. This was a war. I watched those scores all the way through. For a while, I thought maybe the University of Mobile was going to lose this game. They got a little bit of control of it toward the end of regulation, but then it went to overtime, and then University of Mobile was able to win this game in overtime. Ezra McKenna, 23 points, 14 rebounds. He had a night. Damari Jones, 23 points, 11 rebounds. So Mobile now, they go to 4-1. Huntington tonight, they hosted Madonna. They fell to the WAC school 95-86. Brendan Young from Madonna, 26 points, 13 rebounds. Another guy who just had a night. That's a tough loss right there for Huntington. They go to 2-2, and then look at their schedule here. They got to go to Olivet Nazarene on the 11th, and then they got to go to Indiana Wesleyan. So they're going to have to right the ship fairly quick here. Why don't we take just a couple seconds here and talk about the new entries into the top 25 this week. Xavier out of Louisiana, they're 2-0, and at 23, Dort out of the GPAC, they're 4-0. Congratulations to Dort. Lords back in the top 25. They're over in Toledo, Ohio. They're number 24. And then number 25, Florida College. They get back into the top 25 as well. Congratulations to those schools. Another game of note tonight, the Bethel Pilots, they played South Bend. I thought this game was significant because These two schools are like 10 minutes apart. Certainly a rivalry game. Bethel came out on top. Honestly, it looked like they were going to fall. Looked like South Bend had them on the ropes on the road, but Bethel pulled this game out 76-73. Drew Lutz, he scored 29 points. Nathan Ertz, he scored 14 points, 3 rebounds. IU South Bend, 10 for 15 from 3. I mean, they were really lighting it up. However, Bethel Pilots came out on top tonight. On the docket for tonight is Midway's going to play Georgetown, number 5 Georgetown. Ave Maria is going to go to Florida College. Number 10 Wayland Baptist at Our Lady of the Lake. Number 13 Southwestern goes on the road to Haskell Indian Nations University. And this is a big game right here. You heard Colby talk about it. Northwest Nazarene is going to Caldwell to take on number 1 College of Idaho. And one more late game from tonight. The Masters played Antelope Valley at the Masters. Actually, it was our game of the day. The Masters ended up winning this game 98-80. They really took control in the first half. Antelope Valley was able to nip it down to single digits late in the first half, but even before halftime, the Masters was able to stretch it out to 10, and they really controlled the second half. These are two athletic, long teams. It was a track meet. It was a pretty good game. So in this game tonight, Jordan Caruso, 16 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists for the Masters. And then Ty Harper, 30 points, 5 rebounds. So that was our late game for tonight. I appreciate everybody listening, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast. Please like and subscribe. Get out to your local NAIA school, because NAIA basketball is the best entertainment value in America.